Yo, what's good with y'all, man? It's Keymajor and Keyon back with another video for y'all today. Today we got 5 tips on how to become a better sound designer. So let's get straight to it.
So the first thing I like to use whenever sound designing is going to my rendered folder. So if you go up to the all tab right here and look for your rendered, any sound that you guys render in your samples or beats, whatever, all go into this folder. So this is a really good way to get some ideas for your samples and beats whenever designing kits, like phrases, accents, stuff like that. So here's what you can find in here. And this leads me into my next tip, which is flipping your own recordings. We got this recording, one of the phrases that I pulled out of my rendered right here. So the first plugin I'm going to show you guys is Factoid. So any sound that you want, you can put in here and it's going to chop and flip any sounds that you put in here. So we got that phrase and this is what it sounds like now. So what's cool about this plugin is you guys can actually take out individual stems. If there's some parts that you don't like, you can take that out and then play it now. Boom, I just made an easy texture. So I can highlight this, drag it on my playlist, render this out. Boom, I got a texture. All right, so my third tip is using plugins like Pigments, a really powerful synth sampler type of VST where you guys can put your own sounds in here and flip them into presets that you can put into your kits. So we got these one shots right here. So I put all of these into Pigments in the sample section right here, and you can add your own custom effects, whatever you want to do to the sound. You got filters, EQs, all these LFOs and stuff, and this is what the preset sounds like now. So the next plugin we got is a plugin I recently found called Beam. It's kind of like Portal, but a lot of the sounds I've been testing out is on drums. So I got this 808 pulled up right here. So what I've been doing is going to this drum warp section, and this is a crazy way to make 808s and sound design any type of drum sounds. Yeah, that's hard. So the one I've been personally using on my 808s is this clurbing preset. So I got this drum loop I made. This is how it sounds without Beam. And this is what it sounds like with Beam.
First, I'm gonna go through some of my favorite plugins when it comes to sound designing, and the first one I'm gonna run through is Synplant 2. So Synplant has a whole bunch of settings and these really weird settings that allow you to create your own sounds and just design your own type of one-shots in here. So how it kind of works is I went in here and I selected a sound, just any type of sound, and you just kind of click randomize, and it gives you all these little dots you could choose from. So that's the sound I threw in, and then here's some of these sounds that it just generated, and I just click these dots and just cycle through all of them. It just makes some of the craziest sounds ever, and then you could always just render all this stuff out. It has more settings, generate patches, where it just makes a bunch more of these sounds, and you can see it's just kind of like tweaking out right now. The next one I want to go over was Thermal. Now Thermal is somewhat popular, not as popular as Portal, but Thermal is super fire, and I love to use it when it comes to designing 808s and drums. Just for an example, here I have a regular Spins 808. Now I'm just going to throw it to Thermal with this Flex Bounce preset. With a very simple preset, it just makes it punch a lot more, give it a lot more low end. I love using this when it comes to designing my own 808s, my own drums for my kits or whatever. Inside of Thermal, there's a bunch of settings in here as well. EQing, bit reduction, just a bunch of like little automations, a bunch of effects in here to really like have all the customizations in the world to achieve the exact like sound you want. The second plugin I wanted to go over was Lifeline. Now there's two Lifeline plugins. There's Lifeline Console and then Lifeline Expanse. I decided I might as well just show both because I love using both. This is another one that I always spam when it comes to making drums and making my own 808s. So here with the 808 with the Thermal already on it, I'm gonna add this preset inside of Lifeline Console called the SRV Ouch. In here you got some EQs, some preamp, some compression. There's a bunch of other settings in here too, but this is what it sounds with the Lifeline Console on it. You can see it just changes the sound so much, adds like a really dirty, crunchy distortion to it, and it's just so fire. It has a bunch of presets, drums, guitar, keys. It's not only for drums, you can use it for melodies and just sample making in general, but I prefer using it for drums. And like I said, there's also a Lifeline Expanse, and here I got a preset pulled up called Bass Thickener. Here's how the 808 sounds now. You can see it just completely changes the sound again. I just made like 3 808s I could save for a kit right then and there. It has the same amount of settings, if not more, and a bunch of other presets you can use for just making samples and just beats in general. You don't have to use it just for drums. So the fourth trick I wanted to show you does not require a VST, but it's something I learned a while ago from another great producer, and it was basically just kind of showing me and helping me on combining 808s. So if you want to take 2 808s you like and you kind of want to combine them into one, the trick is to literally just press this reverse polarity button. Something about this button kind of like blends both the 808s a lot better and just makes everything be a lot more smooth so they don't clash as much. You don't really have to EQ anything. Just pressing that button just makes it so much easier. So here I have a Luger 808, and then I have this Spins 808 with a lot of distortion on it. I'm gonna play it without the reverse on it. Doesn't sound bad. They're both kind of clashing a little bit, but now I'm going to play it with the distorted 808 just with the reverse on. Now it sounds a lot cleaner, a lot more crisp. You have the low end and the bass from the Luger 808, but then you have the high end and the distortion from the 88 808. I'm going to do it again, except for the Luger 808. Now I'm going to put the reverse on here. They both sound the same. There's a little more low end in the second 808 now, but it's just a very simple trick, and you could really do this for any other sound. Not even just with this button, messing with any of these settings, the crossfade, the out. In here you got the RM mix. I like messing with that too, but all these settings really are like underrated when it comes to combining or designing your own sounds in here. Now the last tip or trick to designing your own sounds and becoming a better sound designer is this VST called Visco. Now I'm using the demo, which is completely free, and there's really no limitations except this little timer like countdown to try it. Now I'm gonna be honest, I haven't used this a lot because I just got it recently, but it's kind of confusing because it has so many settings in here and it's a little overwhelming, but it makes some of the weirdest sounds. So in the main display you have this big box and you have this like blob in the middle. As you see, you could kind of move the blob. So I'm just gonna pick a very simple preset, just like a snare. So that's how the snare sounds, and then you have all these settings on the right, or you could just mess with the blob, and how you move it changes the sound. So you can see as I'm moving it, it's just completely changing the sound, messing with the reverb, the EQ of it, the timing, the stretch of it. It's just making it way different. Right here it says modify, variation, and voicing. These are all kind of the same settings, except you have a little more like specific control. So I have no clue what I'm making right now, but I'm just trying to show you guys the potential of throwing in a very simple sound and how easily you could just change it into something completely different. Up here you have this little meter and you're allowed to pick 2 different sounds. Over here I got this huge kick. Just kind of showing us the potential of what you can make with this. But that's pretty much my 5 tips, tricks, VSTs to help you guys be a better sound designer, kind of get the, I guess, like introduction into sound designing. A lot of these plugins I've seen a lot of other producers use, and I love using them as well to just design my drum sounds, design my one shots, or even just modify the sound of samples or create phrases with. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys try out some of these plugins, these tips and tricks, and we'll see you guys in the next video.